Hey, Chad.
Hey, Barry.
Hey, we've got a sponsor this week.
Hey, do we?
Yeah, we do. It's Distilled Experiences.
Cool.
Distilled Experiences. Find your experience at distilledexperiences.com. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I am your host, Perry, and I'm sitting down this week with none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Chad Perkins of It's Bourbon Night.
It is none other than me. None other.
I thought you were going to say it is none other than the man, the myth, the legend.
Well,
But
to be the man, you got to beat the man.
that is true. Who have you beaten recently?
Ric Flair.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nature Boy.
Nature boy. Yeah, well, he's very old. So
So it was an easy fight.
it wasn't very hard.
Yeah. So we start out every episode with a segment called Flying Blind, and this week, Flying Blind is brought to you by Beer Lovers of Wisconsin. Is a fantastic guy over on Instagram. He sent me a slew of Wisconsin beers, but he also sent these two little blind samples for us to try. And I figured it was only appropriate to do this for Flying Blind. And because Chad and Sarah do love blind flights
It's the only way to know.
on It's Bourbon Night, it just seemed appropriate.
Yeah.
So
Let's do it.
we'll go left, sample 1, right, sample 2.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll let you go ahead and pour sample 1. Of course, I have no idea what these are right now. He did provide me with envelopes for these bottles once we've drank them and chatted about them and everything.
It's don't open until
Xmas.
Xmas, and then burn after reading,
Yes.
I think.
No, I'm pretty excited about this. It's not every day that we get sent some blind samples.
Yeah.
So, pretty pumped.
It's always fun.
Chad, what do you think about the nose on blind sample number 1?
You know, it's a little reminiscent of something. It's familiar.
It is.
I would almost maybe venture a guess that it almost, and you know, we had this discussion on a podcast that I was hosting.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We turned the tables.
Yeah, we need to talk about
there
that.
a little bit, but this kind of smells like when we were trying to put a finger on what exactly a weeder smells like.
Yeah, because I can definitely, if we're talking about what a wheated bourbon does smell like, there is the absence of rye. So you're getting the barrel char and you are getting the corn.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe
Getting
to
that
a lesser
sweetness,
extent, depending on the amount,
The malt.
the malted barley, of
Yeah.
course. But yeah, I mean, I'm picking up quite a few oak notes and
Yeah,
definitely
now,
something sweeter.
Watch it be a rye whiskey.
As we found out on the Drink More Bourbon podcast. Which is
well, I kind of set you up.
you did, but who's to say that this isn't going to be a similar situation?
Yeah.
Speaking of the Drink More Bourbon podcast,
Yeah.
I was on a couple of episodes, which can only be found on Chad and Sarah's Patreon. That's patreon.com/It's Bourbon Night.
You got it.
There we go. So go if you're
and
not.
that's available for every level, all the way down to just the buck,
Oh, no kidding.
just the dollar level. Yeah,
All right.
that's open for everybody.
Now, this definitely does have an older aged quality to it, I would say.
If you're twisting my arm, I would say lower proof, maybe a weeder, maybe some age to it, or maybe like some dustiness. There's not really some funk there, but I'm picking up what I sometimes get on a whiskey that's been aged a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit longer than typical, whatever typical is.
It's weird though, because I'm kind of having a hard time picking anything out otherwise. Like that, you know, a lot of the times we're able to pick out like, you know, cherry notes and there's some, you know, really kind of blatant caramel, but
There's some vanilla.
yeah,
That's about it.
yeah, I know.
But
Well,
noses can be deceiving.
that is true. But the palate, though,
Oh, let's find that out.
yes.
Every time I talk really close to the mic, I feel like the delicious dish. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about salt. Easy. Barely.
Chad, could this be an Elijah Craig barrel proof?
No way. No way, I say. Did you look?
No, I promise you, I haven't looked.
I know.
The
I
envelopes
believe,
are still sealed.
I believe you. You steamed it open
And they're covered
over a kettle.
I'm not crafty enough for that.
I don't know. It did have more of a presence down my esophagus than I was anticipating, but the taste I got in the mouth,
As opposed to what?
the ear.
I think that might be your problem. You're drinking
Yeah.
bourbon the wrong way.
Ah, dadgummit it. Did it again.
get the final.
The mouthfeel was more subtle or subtle. And then down the esophagus, it was like, no, wait, you just drank something that maybe had some proof on it.
Yeah.
This is a head scratcher is what this is,
Yeah,
Bear.
I don't know what to say about this. I could kind of see this being, and this is just based off of the way that people like to trick bourbon drinkers.
Second taste is better.
Second taste is much better.
And it has more heat.
I could see this being a home blend.
Ah,
Yeah. Because it does seem like it has bits and pieces of
different. It's kind of Frankenstein.
Yeah, it really is. But at the same time, I mean, I could really see this going one way or another.
Gun to my head, I would say this is 100 proof or plus or minus
10.
a few points. Yeah,
If we're
10.
going by the tricks or treats.
Yeah. It's either 90.1
That
or
was the most
109.9.
That was the most infuriating bit of that, is like seeing how easily that game could be played.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
just how you could really play the,
we trust me,
system.
the next time we do it, we have other things that are going to be in place that are going to
I believe it.
step it up.
I believe it.
Yeah. And it's not just narrowing the field. It's some other things. It's going to be pretty cool. Yes. It's a podcast, Barry. They can't see the hand
Yeah, I
motion
know,
that I'm
but
making.
the hand motions that you did were very specific to a certain person.
Imagine I was playing an accordion. That's basically the motion where I was saying narrowing. Yeah. It's good. I'll say that.
I like it quite a bit. I mean, I don't think that the nose is opened up that much, but I think that the palate really is where this kind of shines.
Yeah. It is a thinker. The second sip, I thought it was more on the front of the tongue. Now I think it's more back of the tongue. I'm all mixed up.
Third sip, I was starting to get a lot of dark barrel notes. Mm-hmm. The tannins are really coming through.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I want to know. I want to know.
I do too. Do you want to do sample 2 before we?
Knowing what sample 1 is might color.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's go on to sample 2.
All right. I love it.
Yeah. Oh. Hello.
Ho.
Ho.
How.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Hey y'all, I'm Pauly Shore.
Different nose. Definitely more floral. Sort of dried fruity.
Kind of perfumey.
Uh-huh.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Once you really stick your nose in there,
I'm
then it
sorta-
starts getting fruity.
I'm sort of getting like dried fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. I want to take a sip before I hazard a guess.
I'm already there. Oh, it's fruity and floral. And there's a building heat on the tongue. A building. Oh, when you talk and you breathe in air,
There it is.
it's like, nope, I'm more than just that.
I'm gonna fight you on it. Is it kind of banana bready?
Yeah. I mean, not.
Do you need a minute?
No, not overtly, but when you said that, I was like, yes, completely. At first, I kind of had to wait for the heat to die down. It was kind of masking it. But then, yeah, it is. It's like a moist banana bread.
It would lead me to believe that this is a Brown Forman product.
Typically, smart money. Yes.
But I don't know what to categorize this as. I would say it's definitely a rye bourbon.
Yeah.
If I had to go proof, probably in the 110 to 120 range.
I would agree with that.
But that banana bread note.
You know what? You breathe in as you're taking a sip, and that banana becomes prevalent on the nose.
Yeah.
That's what that fruit is.
I think this has got to be a Brown-Forman product.
I don't think it's an Old Forester. Could it be a Woodford? Some different expression of Woodford.
What if this is Old Forester 1915?
Oh, that's exactly what it is. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know. It could be Old Forester. If it is, I think it is something more from the Whiskey Row series and not just like an Old Forester 100
if we're talking blends, which this could again be a blend because it does seem to have DNA of many different things.
Blendy quality.
I could imagine this being a blend of all four of the Whiskey Row.
Son of a bee.
Bourbons.
Son of a bourbon. Yeah, I can see that. That's an interesting. The math involved to name that would be crazy. Because you got 18. You got
1897. You got
18. Got 1920, 1910.
It's 1870, 1897, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because 1897 is the bottom of
Bottom
bond.
bond, and then 1870 is when they started.
Yep.
And okay. Jeez.
Look,
Nerd
man,
alert over
hey,
here.
I gave you all those facts about Maker's Mark on that Patreon podcast.
You were looking at your phone.
I was not Mr. Perkins, and
he
I
wasn't.
can't get back into that character.
He wasn't.
No, I want to know what these are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to go 1 to 2, or do you want to go 2 to 1?
Well, since 2 is on our palate, let's do 2.
Okay, here we go.
Come on, Old Forester.
This is a pretty thick envelope too.
Probably has a lot of just him going like ha 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 ha.
It's just Joker writing.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
from a magazine, just like the letters cut out. What? Really? So it was Brown-Forman.
It was Brown-Forman.
Good
It is
on
a
ya.
Jack Daniel's single barrel proof.
Okay.
130.8 proof. So we were a little off.
We were a little off.
But this is Amon's beer and wine. Yeah. Amon's
So it's a
beer and wine.
pick?
It is a pick.
Okay.
I think this might be the second Jack Daniel's pick I've ever had. Mm-hmm. And I'll be really honest with you, they've not disappointed me.
We had one in our advent calendar last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was fine. Now, could bias have creeped in? Yes, absolutely.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
For a Kentucky native to be trying a Tennessee product. Tennessee's fine. I love Tennessee.
Here we go.
Hey, Bellmead. Bellmead
Bellmead's
cast strength is my jam,
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
But I might harbor a little bit of a thing with Jack Daniels because, hey, don't you call us bourbon. We're Tennessee whiskey. We are a category unto itself. We're not bourbon. We're Tennessee whiskey. We have the freaking Lynch.
Lincoln County
Lincoln
process.
County, yeah. Sorry, it's Lynchburg, Tennessee. The Lincoln County process. We send it through feet upon feet of tightly packed charcoal maple chips.
We send it through feet upon feet of feet.
A feet. It doesn't change the taste. It's a filtering agent. That whole chestnut.
What the listeners couldn't see was I just sat back and crossed my arms and let you go on.
Yeah. What they don't know is you cut out 30 minutes of that rant. I'm a little hoarse now.
I've sampled everything from his bar in the meantime.
He took a nap. He made a sandwich. He made a big sandwich.
A big sandwich.
And he changed his pants.
I'm in different pants now.
Now, people who don't listen to that are like, what the hell?
Yeah. I don't even want to explain it.
All right, don't.
I'm not going to.
Let them Google it and see if something comes up.
Different pants and big sandwich.
He made himself a big sandwich, and he's wearing different pants.
He had, 4 big sandwiches this week?
He also went to the toilet.
I was there for 3 hours.
Yeah. It's just increasingly longer time.
I'm just so happy that I have somebody to talk about with. It doesn't matter.
I totally get it.
So sample one, or sample two, rather, we're going backwards, again, was the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, 130.8.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about what sample one is going to be now.
Trying it again. There is definitely something familiar about that. Oh, I don't know where it lands. Is it Heaven Hill? Where is that? There is something familiar.
If I think I would probably lean a bit more towards Heaven Hill, but I could also see it being a Buffalo Trace product.
Yes. Same. Is it a Weller? I'm still leaning
Another
on that.
foolproof.
Well, no, I'm still leaning on that weeded thing.
Yeah.
Watch me be wrong.
What do you want to? Do you think this is going to be another pick?
It could be. I mean, that would
think that
definitely
could be why it's familiar.
What do you send the bourbon podcaster who has everything? A pick.
Fair enough. All right, let's find out.
All right.
No more waiting.
Here we go. And the winner is... There's a befuddled look on his face. Knob Creek. It is a pick. It is a bourbon. It's not a weeder.
Chad, I have this pick.
Do you?
I have this pick. This is from the Speakeasy, Wisconsin.
Riley's Wines of the World.
Yeah. This is called the Rat Pick.
Huh.
And it's the guys from the Speakeasy on the sticker on the side that says the Rat Pick, and they're all the Rat Pack guys, but their heads are photoshopped on
So
top.
we're also off on the proof because that's got to be 120, right?
This is 120 proof.
Dang, it
Shoot, man.
It drinks like 100. And it does not taste like Jim Beam.
Was not in the realm of Jim Beam.
No.
At all. I'm
trying the last little bit, thinking about Jim Beam. No. I failed to pick up the nuttiness. Definitely familiar, though. Good to know that it's a pick.
I still maintain that this is one of my favorite Knob Creek picks. I do. Because, I mean, I've said it in the past, and having it blind, I still love it. And I think that it really...
It's good.
Yeah, and it still kind of takes me to different places.
Sure.
And by kind of touching on all those different bits that I love from different bourbons,
Yeah.
I still maintain my love for it, my affinity for it.
By saying the word bits, I'm reminded that I need to have a tips and
You
bits.
need to
So
have
I
a
will be
tips
thinking
and
about
bits.
that for the rest of the episode.
I would guess that we might have same ones depending on whether or not you've signed up for a streaming service over the past week.
haven't.
Well,
Not
that's
yet.
a shame.
Yeah, I know what yours is going to be.
Yes. And I cannot spoil it for you, but
No, you shan't.
I don't want to get into tips and bits too early either.
So, I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I thought it was a really good Knob Creek pick. It lacked the Jim Beam qualities that I like in, say, our barrel pick. You know,
Yeah, sure.
Where it's just like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
straight up nuts. You know, straight up peanut butter on the neck pour, and then more into just like the classic nuttiness with a tongue punch.
Yeah.
It's really good though. I don't discount it at all. I enjoyed it when I didn't know what it was. I enjoy it now that I know what it is.
Do you want to do something crazy?
Yeah.
Do you want to do our review?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Do you want to do our review in the middle of the episode?
I think we should.
I think we should too.
I think we should.
But before we go too far off the rails,
yes.
and I think that while the Jim Beam profile is, or something adjacent to the Jim Beam profile is
I
on our
love it.
palates,
No, I love it.
we can kind of get into it, and that way we don't have to revisit it, and then, you know, yada yada. So,
No, that's a great idea.
before we get there, though, I want to say a couple of things. First off, thank you so much, Beer Lovers of Wisconsin, for sending us this blind flight. This is really cool.
He's an awesome dude. I see him.
Absolutely.
I see him comment on our videos often. I think we've seen him in the chat.
And thank you for sending
Yeah.
me beer. Because that was really cool too. Before I ask you what you've been drinking recently, I need to touch on a couple of things, which I did not touch on at the top of the episode. The first off is, if you have not done so yet, please leave us a 5-star rate and review on iTunes. We are trying to push that a little bit more, just so we can get some new listeners, and that does really help us play into what they call the algorithm of the iTunes podcast app.
Yeah.
Gets more people, searching. If they're just searching for Bourbon Podcast, it kind of pushes us up to towards the top a little bit. If you can't leave a review, maybe tell your friends about the show.
Tell a friend.
Too.
Tell a friend.
I mean,
make a big sandwich.
Make a big sandwich and change your pants.
Change your pants and tell a friend.
Different pants.
Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. You're a dog of a bloke. You're a dog of a bloke.
Don't dog the boys.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, and the other thing, so we are currently about halfway through our Movember charity fundraiser.
Yes.
And as of a couple nights ago, we actually hit our goal of $500.
Snap.
Yeah, which
That's awesome.
Not gonna lie, I got real emotional about it.
Aw.
But I just want to say first off, thank you all so much for everybody who has donated so far. Because we hit that goal so early, I upped it to $750.
Good on ya.
So because I now know that it's doable and that people are interested in making this happen, I think we can kind of keep it going.
Yes.
And so it is now up to $750 for our goal. We are currently sitting at, I believe, $505. If my memory serves correctly. That number, of course, is subject to change. We're recording this on the Thursday before the Wednesday that it comes out. So not sure what those numbers are going to look like. But as of right now, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who has donated. There are some little special rewards for people who have donated kind of coming your way. I'm working on a few of them right now. Can't spill the beans about everything too much, but I will let you know more.
Very cool.
As soon as I can.
You kind of reminded me of something, if I may.
Yeah.
So at the time of this recording, I'm going to plug this on our Sunday live stream. But great to do it here because it's for another great cause.
Yeah,
it's
please.
for the Ronald McDonald House of Kentucky.
Yeah.
They are doing a Pappy raffle.
No kidding.
Yes. So go to RMHCK. That's Ronald McDonald House, Central Kentucky, I think. That's what it stands for. Doesn't matter. It's rmhck.org/Pappy Raffle. PAPPYRAFFLE.
So I don't want to get too far off
Sure.
topic of bourbon,
Yeah.
but I can speak semi-personally to the importance of the Ronald McDonald House.
Okay.
A lot of you all probably don't know this, but I don't even know if you know this, Chad. My brother, Dane, for 6 years out of his life, from the time he was 10 all the way until he was 16, had Lyme disease.
Oh.
And in that time, he and my mom had to travel all over the United States, just trying to find help and care and everything. And one of the biggest assets, in the midst of medical bills and everything, was being able to go to someplace like the Ronald McDonald House. Not like the Ronald McDonald House. It was the Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah.
And be able to, go somewhere for a couple of nights and not have to pay boarding.
Right.
And it was a really, quite frankly, scary time for our family. And, just having a little bit of that alleviated was a huge blessing.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I'll definitely encourage people to go and check that out.
I did not know that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I didn't.
And that's the thing too. I think that people probably don't know that, everybody struggles and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason that we're doing the Movember campaign as well. And, Movember touches so many men throughout the world.
Yeah.
And trying to encourage them to take care of themselves and to, seek help when they need it. And, also talking about the Ronald McDonald House, it's more than just a burger chain that, I mean, they legitimately are taking care of people. And so I think it's important to give back where,
Well,
it needs to be
look, it's
done.
it's great that you have a personal endorsement that you can attach to
Yeah.
this cause. I mean, it just, I haven't had any personal connection with it. Someone on Patreon brought it to my attention, and then I sent them an email and I said, "Hey, can I help you guys get the word out? Because I noticed they didn't have, but maybe a fourth of their tickets sold." And I was like, "Hey, just want to make sure it's okay for me to help you get the word out." And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to announce that on Sundays Live, and it's great to announce it here too. So again, well, I lost the website, but
RH
rmhck.org
OCK. Excuse me. Sorry.
/ Pappy Raffle.
Right.
It's a $100 ticket.
Okay.
Okay.
Goes to a good cause.
It goes to a great cause. And here's what you could win. There's only 2,000 tickets being sold. So depending on how many tickets you buy,
Wow.
it would be within 2,000. Here's what you'll win. A full bottle of Old Rip Van Winkle 10-year. Van Winkle Special Reserve 12-year. Pappy Van Winkle 15-year. Pappy Van Winkle 20-year. Pappy Van Winkle 23-year.
Holy
yes,
moly.
the complete vertical.
So this is one winner.
One winner.
Oh my gosh.
The complete vertical. You don't have to be present to win. This runs through December 5th or until tickets are sold out. And they will ship. Now, the winner has to be responsible for the cost of shipping. But they will ship anywhere in the U.S. And if there is, depending on international laws, a legal way to ship internationally, they will do that too. So, there you go.
I mean, spend thousands of dollars, on a few bottles of bourbon, or spend $100 helping a great cause for the chance to.
You might not win, but that could be a tax write-off. And you have contributed to what we have just now learned from a personal experience is, in fact, a great cause.
Yes.
So there you
Absolutely.
go.
So,
Boom.
yeah, let's get back to bourbon.
Cool.
Yeah. Chad, what have you been drinking recently?
I have been drinking Blanton's straight from the barrel. Shout out to...
Every night?
Well, until it was gone. Shout out to
My
Drew.
man.
Shout out to Drew from the Here for the Booze Patreon meetup that we had. He brought a brand new bottle of Blanton straight from the barrel that we opened on the bus and that we had, and we came home with the last little bit. Finish that puppy off. Gosh, so I'm just trying to think of the bottle kills. We had a couple bottle kills here lately. We did the Boone County 12-year Lion Share pick. Oh. We finished that puppy off. Oh. It was rather good.
Yeah.
Yes, rather good. Yeah. And then here recently, we had some unique Four Roses small batches. We did Lexington Bourbon Society event with Brent Elliott.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Where teams battled to combine any of the 10 single barrel expressions into a homemade small batch, and there was a winner. Sarah was one of the judges this year. I was a judge last year.
Oh, cool.
And I got to taste them, and they were amazing. So also been drinking that.
Did you get to bring any of that home with you?
Nah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
That's a real shame.
Yeah, but good times.
Yeah,
that's
for
what
sure.
I've been drinking. What you been drinking?
So as of recording this, yesterday was old Papa Ritter's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of backstory. So, good friend of the show, of course, Dustin Whitaker, found this bottle on. Well, am I allowed to say that anymore?
I wouldn't.
Okay. Well, I'll bleep it out.
Found this bottle.
Found this bottle, yes. And it was not only my birth year, but it was also bottled on my dad's birthday. And so, right? I mean, so I'm the oldest in our family. And so this would have been the first birthday my dad had with a kid.
As a dad.
Yeah, as a dad. So
as a Papa Ritter.
As a father.
Yeah.
I'm fine, but never mind. Anyway, so it just seemed like a no-brainer to try to pick that up. So I wound up in my possession, and we cracked it last night. Of course, the cork fell right into the bottle.
Of course it did.
Because that's what old turkey corks do.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely fantastic. Not only was it 8-year 101, it was also an export from Korea.
Wild.
Yeah.
Now, was it a 700 milliliter or 750?
I failed to look.
Okay.
I
would just be curious, the geek in me.
I'll go back home and look, and I'll put it in the episode right here.
So I didn't record anything, but it was a 700 milliliter bottle. And I may not have recorded my own voice, but at least I put it in. Also, suck it, Chad.
Did he do it?
I did it. Last time you told me I wasn't going to do it, I did it. So here we go. Yeah.
I just
Anyway.
always wonder.
No, but I also no, I can't say that actually.
Can't say
That's
it.
a surprise.
Don't say it.
Oh. I got to sit down with somebody yesterday and share some pours. So we'll talk about that more in the near future, I would say. Yeah.
I think there's a hint to that. I think it happened in the Drink More Bourbon podcast where someone texted you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's where that happened?
Yeah, that did happen.
But this is going to come out before that, so.
This will come out before the Drink More Bourbon podcast?
I think so. Maybe? When's this going to come out?
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, there's a good chance of it.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
if it was in the multiple topic one, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was in the...
It was in the first one.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
Yeah. Who's to say? But I also recently finally got to pick up 4 bottles from OBC.
Mm-hmm.
I was on two separate picks on 2 separate days. One of them was 4 Roses, and it was a 100 proof OBSV single barrel. It actually was, I didn't even realize it at the time, but was in celebration of Malone's 20th anniversary.
Ah.
Which was kind of special, but then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I was there for that. But the other one was an OESV barrel proof. That's
Real nice.
But then I also went with them for a turkey pick, and it was a Kentucky Spirit, which actually I have sitting on the table that we'll get into here in a little bit, and a Russell's pick.
Sweet.
And if I remember correctly, both were Camp Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
I know at least the Russell's pick was. But I can't remember. I'll have to go ask Iverson or Justin or somebody and see if they remember for sure.
Nice.
But that's just what I've been drinking recently.
Sweet. I want to be drinking this.
Yeah,
Knob
let's
Creek.
drink this. This is we're doing something very different. We're doing a review in the middle of the episode.
I like it.
Instead,
I'm a fan.
And I figured this is kind of a good thing to do as well because it is 100 proof, and the other 2 things that I have are
over that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's good. Especially since we just had a Knob Creek.
We did.
And we might get a little of a schnickered the further we go. So there you go.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
So this is the Knob Creek Quarter Oak, which is their
I always want
newest-
to call it quarter cask.
I
It's
do
quarter
too.
oak, yeah.
Which is
Because
weird.
what's a
because-
quarter oak? You know?
So the thing is that they use a quarter-sized barrel.
Yeah, which is a quarter cask. I got it.
Yeah, I think that
But I
was
know
kind
it's
of
also like in conjunction with 53-gallon barrels.
well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they use 1 quarter-sized barrel and blend it with their full 53-gallon barrel.
Yeah, which I'm a fan of. I've never been too crazy about stuff that have come out of smaller barrels. I mean, there are obviously some exceptions, but generally, I'm more of a fan of things from the, call it full-size barrel. So I think,
I call it that.
yeah.
How brave of us.
Well, we're brave people. I feel like combining them to get the different influence from the quarter cask with your standard 53-gallon is, is smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, maybe we'll see. I've only had this once. It was at the Here for the Booze meetup, and it was on top of umpteen other things. So
well, this is
I don't remember.
This has opened up a little bit.
Good.
I got this for, I believe, $50, which is pretty common for the Knob Creek limited editions that have been coming out over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what you think about
so what
this.
we got.
Yeah. It's a little medicinal. I think there is some kind of cherry cough syrup on the nose.
There is a cherry note there that I think a lot of us attribute to cough medicine.
But it is kind of really well coupled with an oak note too, and I think that's kind of the influence of maybe that smaller barrel.
Yeah, I think if you look for it, you can find the nuttiness, but it's not jumping out.
Kind of like a roasted pecan with sugar on it. It is very sugary.
I was gonna say walnut, but yeah, I could see pecan too.
Well, I think you're wrong.
You're wrong.
It's very light
It is light
for 100 proof.
Yeah.
Ooh. You know that that Christmas mix of like popcorn and nuts
Yeah.
that you get in those big metal tins?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this reminds me of.
Interesting.
So it's like caramel popcorn, sometimes mixed with just straight up buttered popcorn, and then like, I don't know, peanuts. Is that what comes in those tins? I can't remember.
I don't think it's peanuts.
Is it almond? It's not almonds.
I think
Is
a lot
it?
of times
Sometimes it's almonds.
I think a lot of times it's cheddar popcorn.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Usually they're like in 3 sections.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the one big mix
Yeah.
of like a few things together.
Yeah.
I will say there is a savory note on the palate.
There is. I'm getting that popcorn thing. It's almost like that salted caramel again.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah. Not a super long finish.
I would venture to say it's quite short. But what it does offer up is a lot more of those sweet notes. There's kind of a cotton candy flavor towards the end. Just very light and airy.
Yeah.
I think overall,
The
kind of like a sponge cake.
Yeah. The nuttiness is definitely on the back end, and it's kind of like you had a handful of peanuts and then you ate that popcorn, and you can still kind of taste
Peanuts and candy corn.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Swan, huge fan of.
Oh, second sip, I got a little burst of lemon out of nowhere.
I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a little.
I don't know if it's lemon necessarily as much as it is just kind of citrusy.
Citrus, or it's that. Ever since you said fluffiness, like, or I don't know if you said fluffiness or not, but
I think I did.
okay, that like lemon pound cake, like it's an angel food cake with maybe some lemon
Yeah.
type of flavoring.
Of the 2 Jim Beam products we've had today,
Yeah.
both have been so off profile.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think that is bad for this. I don't think that it's inherently a bad product. I think that it just might not be an ideal Jim Beam product.
With this one, I think it makes more sense because it's 100 proof. I only say that because I had the regular 100 proof small batch yesterday with a buddy I went to lunch with, and we had that. With the 120 with the pick, it doesn't quite make sense. But that one, I feel like drinks lower proof than it actually is. Like,
Yeah.
those seemed more on par proof-wise. And that flavor is more indicative of what I had in just the off-the-shelf Jim Beam small batch yesterday.
I could kind of see this pairing well with a savory dish.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's where I'm going right now in terms of my assessment, but it does seem like it's kind of meant to be a part of something greater than itself.
I would agree with that. I feel like there needs to be a pairing that takes off those couple things that I'm not crazy about and complement the things that I do like.
I agree.
Yeah.
Would this hold up in a cocktail?
I don't think it would.
I would like to see it in maybe not an old fashioned, but maybe more like a Manhattan. Where everything's kind of very straightforward in its presentation.
Yeah, that could work well in a Manhattan. I think anything too fruit forward, it would just get lost. It would get buried.
Yeah.
But if it's pretty much just the bourbon and then,
Mm-hmm.
some other little, like bitters and so forth, yeah, I could see that working.
Yeah. So we do have a review system.
We do.
Nose, palate, finish,
Full
and price.
plushy piercings.
What? Do you,
What?
I want to really amplify that. Turn it way up in the edit. No, it's nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5, and then we total everything up for a final score out of 20. Chad, what would you give the nose on this bourbon?
I think it's right there, middle of the pack. So I would give it a 2.5.
I was going to give it a 3.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that it's bad necessarily, but it's funny. I kind of liken it a little bit more to Jim Beam White Label, which is interesting, but it does kind of have...
It smells lower proof.
It does, for sure. But it does have a little bit more of a punch to it on the nose, but it's nothing... It's nothing that is so out of this world that it's going to go any higher than a 3.
Yeah.
So it's good, but not great.
Yeah.
Same kind of way with the palate, where it's got good stuff going for it. We did talk about, some of the... It seems like we're talking about it more so as, what all of the ingredients make together.
Yeah.
So instead of it being like, oh, it's the Granny Smith apples that go into the pie with the cinnamon, and you taste the cinnamon separately. It's like, what does it all come up with together? Mm-hmm. And I think that is a little bit more interesting than breaking it down bit by bit. And so I like what it comes out to, but I'm just not crazy about it, I would say.
Right.
I would give it a 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Yeah.
On the palate?
Yes.
Okay. I gave it a 3. I think it's better than average, but it's... I don't know. It is what it is.
I mean, that's kind of how I felt about it on the nose.
Yeah.
But I think that the finish is the part that I feel the most strongly about.
Really? I figured with it
Because-
being so short, you might not...
Well, that's why I feel the most strongly about it, is because it is
Oh, okay.
it is quite absent. Mm-hmm. So I'm between a 1.5 and a 2, so I'm going to give it a 1.75,
1.75.
which is not great,
Okay.
of course, but
I mean, I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah.
I feel like it's about like the nose. It's average. Mm-hmm. That was a little bit longer than real short, but definitely not long. So I gave it a 2.5. I don't know. Again, like the nose, it's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. I'm fine. Price is $50.
Price is 50.
Okay. Taking into account that it is a limited edition, but also being a pretty okay product, I don't know, man. I feel like a 3 is about as high as I could give it.
You giving it a 3?
I'm giving it a 3.
Okay. You had to give it a 7.5 and just mess up all my math. You have I have a 10.
Okay.
So 50%, 10 out of 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
half.
great.
You have 9, 10, 10 and a half, 11.25.
Hearing it all together, I feel like
I mean, right? You have a 3,
Yes.
3, 3.5, 1.75.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Bourbon does not encourage math skills.
It really doesn't?
No, but I just think that, it's just a very is what it is
It is what it is.
kind of bourbon. And
Bourbon is as bourbon does, sir.
quite frankly, from what I remember, I don't think my score for Jim Beam White Label was too far off.
Huh.
I mean, if I'm just being candid about it, they were very similar scores, which, I mean, say what you will about Jim Beam White Label, it still has its merits.
Yeah.
So if we're just going off of price, which I guess in turn has to, you have to talk about the quality of the product. I don't see any merit over buying this $50 bottle of bourbon
Right.
versus its $15 counterpart.
Well, I would say this. I would rather have the regular Knob Creek small batch or definitely Knob Creek single barrel
I
for the
totally
price.
agree. Totally agree.
I'd rather
with
have
you.
that 120 nuttiness goodness. Or for the same price, a pick.
Or go a little bit higher, maybe a Baker's. Or a
bottle of
Booker's.
Booker's.
Yeah. I just think that I don't think it's a good representation of the Knob Creek line.
I don't either.
But I like what they did with this idea.
Yeah, I'm all for the idea and in support of it, but I don't think it exactly worked out, and that's just more reason why I'm not so into the quarter cask stuff. Good that they tried it, because quarter oak I know is the name, but they did it in a quarter cask. Because I've talked to master distillers about the smaller barrel things, and they're like, we've tried it. It's just so unpredictable as to when the sweet spot happens. You really have to be tasting it every day, and it's just not worth the maintenance, I guess.
Sure.
And that was coming from Buffalo Trace, and they have 10,000 experimental barrels resting right now.
Yeah.
So if they're saying we experimented with it and it's just not happening, it's just not worth it, then I'm like, okay,
You're right.
thank you, goodbye. It's like, yeah.
With the idea of experimental or maintenance in mind, could this have been priced higher?
I would hope not.
But I'm saying, like, did Jim Beam maybe lowball themselves when they were pricing this product?
We don't know the percentage of 53-gallon barrel to quarter cask.
That's fair.
It could have been 80% of the 53-gallon regular and 20% of the quarter cask.
That's true. I mean, I just kind of my initial reaction is, oh, the quarter cask is dumped right into the what will become the blend of that and the 53-gallon.
Yeah, and it could be. I don't think they lowballed themselves. They put that little medallion. They glued that little medallion on the bottle, and it's a limited thing.
Well, that's worth at least $3.
Yes, I think this falls more in line of like the Basil Hayden's, experimentals, the rum cask, the 2x2s. It just, but you know what? And it's good that you talked about the pairing with food thing, because the way that we palate the 2x2 rye from Basil Hayden's is with food. Mm-hmm. And we found a pairing that is bonkers amazing. So I think that's where this lies. This is waiting to find a pairing that just knocks your socks off.
I wouldn't mind trying it with a steak.
Yeah,
honestly, which is just kind of a dumb idea.
Well,
but
it's more like a default. I think you start with that and you kind of build off of it. And then there's some type of combination there, whether it's like steak with a bite of mashed potatoes and asparagus or whatever, whatever it is.
Right.
Or it's like, I don't know, a bacon wrapped steak. There's some other variable there that would kick it up a notch.
I totally agree.
Take it to the next level.
Or whatever cut of steak it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's
or,
a New York strip at medium with a shot of Cabernet.
Seared in a garlic butter reduction.
A little white wine reduction.
No, I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. Need some more of that Chex Mix.
Oh, I shot some out at you.
You did.
Fair enough. Yeah. Usually we wrap episodes up at this point, but
I know we got more to do.
We do, yeah. Like I said, I do have a single barrel Kentucky Spirit pick that I was a part of, so I wanted you to get your grimy mitts around it.
I would love to
check this out. Well, while we are in between pours, I figured I'd go ahead and tell you all about our sponsor for the week. That is Distilled Experiences. It is a local tour company out of Lexington, Kentucky that I have had the good fortune to work alongside. It has been founded by Nate Taylor, who is a local Kentucky boy who has a great passion for the bourbon industry and all of the wonderful merits that it brings to Kentucky, not just Lexington, but Kentucky itself. There are 2 public tours that are available throughout the week. They are on Friday and Saturday, but personal private tours can also be booked. If that is something that interests you, we cater the tours a little bit more towards what you are interested in. So say you would rather hit a couple of the craft tours, that is something that can be offered up to you. There is also a discount code that is available to listeners of the show. You can head to distilledexperiences.com and use the code MyBourbonPodcast, and you get 10% off all public tours throughout the week. So again, distilledexperiences.com for the public tours. Use the code MyBourbonPodcast at checkout, and you just might have old Pear Bear himself as a tour guide for one of those 2 days. I'm gonna let Chad finish his chomping there before we hop back into
I was trying to do it off mic.
this sport. No, it's all right. I was gonna draw attention to it. No, so this is, as I said, a Kentucky Spirit pick that I was a part of for OBC Kitchen, and I guess in turn, BHG restaurants around Lexington. And I guess really they've started expanding outside of Kentucky too.
Mm-hmm. This is actually my first pour from the newly designed bottle.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I brought you one that I picked up from Liquor Barn.
Well,
It was called like Mr. Russell's Neighborhood or something like that.
yeah, you probably did. Well, the one that I own, I haven't opened yet because we still have a turkey tail bottle.
Have we talked about whether or not it was a good move for them to redesign? I think we might have.
You know what? It's funny to hear Jimmy Russell talk about bottle redesign because, you know,
He doesn't care.
Jimmy, he's an older gentleman. And he's like, why do you think we redesigned this bottle? Because women go out and, I mean, he's not like, women, they get out of the kitchen and they get nothing
Hey,
like
darling.
Yeah, nothing like that. But he's like, women find this bottle more appealing. I mean, you know, it's like he's just talking about what the marketing report says. I don't know. I think people don't start appreciating the bottle until they hear they're getting a new bottle. And they're like, but the turkey tail's so beautiful. When if you had said, tell me a beautiful bottle, that probably never would have left your lips, you know? You would have been like, well, the Blanton's bottle's cool. And, you know, this and that bottle.
At that point, we're kind of talking about iconic versus pretty.
Yeah.
And I think that the Blanton's bottle is iconic, whereas the turkey tail bottle was just kind of visually appealing. It just wasn't practical.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that with Blanton's in their barrel grenade looking bottle, that's a lot more feasible for production and for, you know, consumers who are trying to fit it on their shelves. Mm-hmm. But the turkey tail bottle was so oddly shaped.
Well, it's shaped like a turkey tail.
It was shaped like a turkey tail. That being said, I still love it.
I mean, this is basically what is this the rare breed bottle or pretty similar to it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I'm used to it now, but when I first saw a picture of the redesign, I was like, that label is just too plain. Like I wasn't a fan of it. Now it's grown on me. You know, it's minimalistic, I get it. It's clean, but quite a departure from the turkey tail.
Yeah. And that being said, the turkey tail was around for, what, near on 20 years? I mean, when was Kentucky Spirit introduced? 94? Maybe earlier than that, 91?
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
So, I mean, I can understand why there was a little bit of backlash against it being redesigned.
Yeah.
Or replaced, rather. It wasn't really redesigned other than the label.
No, yeah.
They just took a different label and slapped it on a rare breed bottle.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, Yeah. It fits on well, it fits on the shelf better now.
It does.
It has single barrel on the neck, and a neck tag.
No, we did hear multiple times that the bottle was not feasible for bottling.
The turkey tail?
The turkey tail
wasn't feasible?
No, it caused production issues.
Huh.
You didn't hear that?
I don't think so.
Well, you must not have been talking to the right people. No, I'm just kidding.
They're not listening.
No, it from what I understand, the neck was getting broken on the bottling line multiple times. So, I mean, I guess go with something that's a little bit more tried and true.
Yeah, substantial, yeah.
What do you think about this? You've made some faces and noises.
Well, the nose was atypical, I felt, to turkey, but the taste is really solid. I like it a lot. It's, the thing about turkey that you could say is, I feel like a lot of times they taste over what their proof is. Like this is 101 proof. It's 1 point higher than a bottled and bond bourbon, but man, it drinks. It drinks over its class, you know? Yeah, it's yeah. It drinks pretty exceptional.
If I remember correctly, when we were picking the two expressions that we chose the Kentucky Spirit one because it was lower proof and it was going to lend itself a lot better towards being bottled at 101 while still maintaining the flavors that we really liked. Whereas the Russells that we picked, I honestly, if I remember correctly, it came out of the barrel at 111 or 112. So there wasn't a whole lot that was going to be added to it. And so it was still really, really going to maintain what made it as exceptional as it was.
Yeah.
And I think that, we were tasting this and everything was kind of popping out at us, and it still had... It seemed like it could be curbed a little bit. And I really do feel like it's a really exceptional example of what a Kentucky Spirit pick can be.
Yeah.
But that being said, if we're just kind of talking base level about Kentucky Spirit picks, they are essentially a single barrel version of Wild Turkey 101.
Right.
Which, when I first heard that, I think my brain did a backflip because it realized that it was a thing that could...
You think for the $50 it would be older, and it might in some cases. Do you remember what the age was on this one?
I can't. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. I mean, with Turkey 101, you're of course getting a batched version that contains 7, 8, maybe some 9-year.
Now, like this past year, we had some 12-year.
Right, some 12-year
in there. Thanks, Long Branch.
Yeah. With this, you are getting, with a single barrel, obviously, it's going to be a definitive age.
Yeah.
And it's this exact same proof. The exact same mash bill. The exact same stuff. It can come from the exact same warehouses, even. It is impressive. And, speaking again of the Halloween episode, that was one that Sarah blinded me with, was Kentucky Spirit. And I remember my reaction being like, what is this? This is really good. I really like this.
Yeah.
And then she told me it's Kentucky Spirit. I was like, what? Well, I mean, it makes sense that I like it, but I didn't think I liked Kentucky Spirit that much.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a really good pick.
No, I think that it was... And that is, in part and parcel to everybody that was on that pick.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Iverson, of course, who we've had on the show before, talked ad nauseum about, and then Justin, who is I believe their spirits director there too at OBC or really BHG. It wasn't like you just looked at the room and go, hey, you're going on a pick tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was well curated.
Yeah.
For making sure that the end product was gonna be quality.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a really good example of what Kentucky Spirit picks can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're kind of slept on right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they're sitting on the shelf a lot longer than Russell's picks are. And I think that it might just be that people don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I legitimately didn't know until, probably the beginning of this year.
Well, it's back to that old reserve hypothesis, I guess. If it has reserve in the title, it's good. And I think people just, it's reserve, like Woodford Reserve, like Weller Special Reserve.
Yeah.
It's reserve. And, and I think in Russell's has always been a great package, especially since they redid it from that faux wood label of back in the day. And I think it just looks more attractive on the shelf. And it may have been because they were getting overlooked that they did this bottle redesign. I don't know if this bottle redesign is going to help them. I still think it would be overlooked. It looks pretty plain.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of the general hypothesis is
Until you get a Matthew
whatever.
McConaughey picked Kentucky Spirit, I don't think the general public is going to really be looking towards this.
I'm not going to say that I wouldn't want to try that. Even just for shock value.
Sure.
Right? I mean, I don't know what the guy's palate's like. I mean, clearly we have...
Long Branch is the best tasting bourbon he's ever had. So say he. Now, he's also apparently the creative director of Wild Turkey. Okay. He says that's the best tasting whiskey he's ever had. And it's just not for me. I don't think it's for you either.
It's not for me either, no.
Yeah, it wasn't made for us.
No.
It was made for people who maybe you were thinking about getting into bourbon.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a good bourbon.
No, it's good. I like it. I like it a lot.
So I'm going to be intentionally vague about this last one.
Okay.
I can't divulge too much information about this.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that this was given to me by a friend. It is a limited release. It's something
A mutual friend.
A mutual friend, indeed. This is something that I did not expect to have in my possession. Having sampled it before, I was pretty enthused that I could look up on my bar and go, oh,
There it is.
there it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and pour this. We'll talk about this more soon. Not necessarily this episode, but ooh,
That's what you got to do.
da 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 da. That was the exact cork pop from the podcast intro. It definitely was. Every now and then I get the Every now and then I get the same cork pop from the uncorking videos.
Yeah.
Which is fun. And then I immediately go da 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 da.
Yep.
It's Bourbon Night. Hello, I'm Chad.
You know what I almost suggested for the Patreon recording of the podcast that we did earlier?
Yes.
I almost said, "Hey, bring your guitar over. I'm gonna grab mine, and we're gonna figure something out
Oh, we should have.
some other time."
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you say that. Nobody cares about this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm really excited about it. So my first acoustic guitar was an Alvarez Regent. Kind of the lower end, but still appealed to, if you didn't have a whole lot of money, but you wanted to, get something that was similar to, at that time, like Martin guitars. So I had a Dreadnought, the big body acoustic guitar, as my first acoustic. So, I'm 13 years old and, reaching around like it's a massive guitar.
Yeah.
And I always wanted a smaller body version of that because it sounded great, but I wanted something that fit me a little bit better. And this is now going on 12, 13 years. I picked up today, a 00 version of that guitar. It needs work to it and everything, but I haven't been so excited to pick up a guitar.
Oh, show me a picture of it.
Yeah, since I've found this one. And I mean, it is
Nice.
very much a project guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm honestly going to like drill the hole for the pickup and like, you know, set the action and everything and make sure that it's to my liking, which I've never done before.
Nice.
But this is my next baby, my
Sure.
next project
Yeah,
is, you know,
yeah.
really putting the time and the effort into it and not trying to rush it and
Nice.
everything. And anyway, when that gets done, I'll bring it over and
Yeah.
we'll, you know,
Yeah.
record something for your Patreon.
No, that'd be good.
Maybe mine as well.
Yeah. I have one acoustic, and it is a solid body mahogany Tacoma acoustic.
Mahogany.
Yeah.
Tacoma.
Tacoma, Washington.
Is that their own, I almost said distillery.
Yes.
Is
it
that
a distillery.
their own shop? Like, or they
Yeah.
made by,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, located in Tacoma, Washington, from Washington trees. Yeah.
that's really cool.
I was actually, at the time, I was between like a lower end, it couldn't have been a Taylor. Those are too expensive. What's another brand that's sought after in acoustics? Martin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just talked about mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Bourbon.
was yeah, it's a bourbon. It was a Martin, kind of a, you know, base entry level
Right.
Martin, but I went and played this Tacoma, and I was like, I like this one better. So I ended up getting it, you know.
Yeah.
And well, I like it.
I think, you know, most days out of the week, I'm more of an electric guitar guy.
Yeah.
But even then, you and I still different. We still differ. That's what I was looking for.
There you go.
We still differ on what kind of electric guitars we go for. I mean, I'm much more of a Strat guy.
Well, my first electric was a Strat.
Okay.
I have two Strats.
But don't you see? I'm the Strat without the humbucker.
I have a Strat without the humbucker, but I like that humbucker because I feel like for distortion, the single pickup is just too noisy.
See, if I'm going to go for a humbucker, I'm going to go for a Gibson or you know,
Sure.
I would rather. I mean, it's the same thing. That's why we have different bourbons. Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to bourbon. By the way,
Back to bourbon. Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh, it's not bad.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it's not bad. While still being intentionally vague about this, it is in the upper 120s in proof.
I was just noticing that.
This is not the first release
Nope.
of this product, but at the same time, still kind of a heritage brand,
Yep.
I would say. Mm-hmm. And it's something that is, I would say, pretty near and dear to the heart of this podcast, too, because I can't say too much without giving it away. I mean, there are reasons behind it that we'll talk about in the coming weeks. But this is
Ooh.
that's the best way to put it, is that it's just a punch of flavor and just deliciousness.
Wow. I think I'm going to save
Good.
the rest of this for Sarah.
Will she be home soon?
Yeah, pretty soon.
Well, then she can have her own pour of it.
Well, okay.
I won't disallow that.
I mean, I'm actually, she's at you can cut this out. She's at a work event, so she wasn't completely like a mandatory work event. So she's not completely sure when she's going to be home. It might
that's fine
be within the next 20 minutes. It might be an hour. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, she can have her own pour of it.
No, that's good.
No,
Oh, wow.
I think this is, you know, having had multiple iterations of it, this is kind of the one that has stuck out the most for me. And I don't know if it's because the craft behind it has gotten better and better throughout the years. And maybe it's, what do I say? Relativity bias.
That is a thing, yes.
Yeah, so, I just think that this one's exceptional.
It is really good.
I know we're being very vague. I'm sorry. This makes for great radio, but I think that this was done very, very well.
I agree. I concur with that. Well,
Yes.
here's the sound of the bottle.
Oh, and glean from that what you will. Shake it around, Chad. Oh, you know what? That sounds like
Wait, here's the cork pop. That speaks
it
volumes.
still sounds like the podcast intro.
Boom. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Anyway. No, I figured there's lyrics to that song?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
No, I figured this was a good one for us to kind of end on. And we'll get into tips and bits now that we've wrapped
Damn it.
everything up. You completely forgot, didn't
I
you?
sure did.
Well, then I will.
No, I got something.
No, okay. Well, then I'll let you go first.
Okay, cool. My tip and/or bit is His Dark Materials.
Oh, I'm so excited for that show.
Hulu. I
Yeah.
think there's only 2 episodes out at the time of this recording. We've watched both of them, and I'm in. I'm in for it. I'm in for the ride.
Have you watched Watchmen yet?
No, I think I'm gonna wait, maybe for the whole season to come out. You
should watch it.
Nowadays.
It's amazing.
First world problem. Nowadays, you have to pick and choose what
You binger.
series. Yeah, you wanna get behind. There's the new season of Silicon Valley that I haven't started watching yet, and I love that show.
Isn't this the last season?
It is.
Yeah, that's weird.
I know.
Show's been going forever.
I think it's only the 6th season.
It feels like forever.
Yeah, I love that show. I think the comedy is amazing on that show.
Yeah.
And the acting and everything. I mean, yeah, it's great. But only 2 episodes from what I've seen of His Dark Materials is good. It's a solid show. I'd recommend it. That's my tip.
Well, mine is another show, The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, is
I knew it would be that.
outstanding. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
one
hear
of
that's
the.
like what people want the movies to be.
I'm totally on board with that.
What's your opinion of The Last Jedi?
No, we've talked about this.
We're going to talk about it again.
Oh my gosh.
No, that's fine.
Should we do another one when the Rise of Skywalker comes out? I think we should.
Is
Bill will be on it.
he going to be on it?
He will be on it. Please just allow me this so that everything can come full circle. Much like the Way of the Jedi.
Can we call the episode The Rise of Perkins?
Yes. That sounds dirty.
Well, now it does.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, no,
Jeez.
I think we should, even if it's like a bonus episode or something, I
Okay.
feel like it's something we should.
I mean, listen, I hope I love it. And then you got 2 people gushing about it.
See, I don't even hope that you love it. I just hope that you have a strong enough opinion on it to be able to say,
Yeah, it's fine. Or whatever.
or it's
Yeah,
just a movie.
Okay, that's done. Yeah, it's just a movie. Worst movie ever, best movie ever, or it's just a
Or
movie.
it's just a movie.
Yeah.
No, I think that we should.
I'll probably go to the toilet during it, make a big sandwich, and wear different pants.
Chase your kid.
Yeah, chase my kid.
Make a tram meme.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're really getting niche.
Yeah, we are.
This podcast is going to be for nobody. I feel like at this point.
It's time for an ad. Do you like ads? Movement watches are both
Casper
stylish.
mattresses.
Casper mattresses.
I've been a fan of HelloFresh for 6
Hello
years now.
Fresh is
Anyway, let's wrap this show up, shall we?
yeah.
Chad, first off, thank you for being on this episode.
Oh, my pleasure.
This has been a long afternoon, but a fun one.
It's been a great one.
It's been good.
Good way to spend a Thursday.
Yeah, I totally agree. Where can people find you on social media?
YouTube.com/It's Bourbonite.
The big one.
You can hit that big O subscribe button and an angel gets its wings, you know.
It's big. It's
big.
red. It's Another third qualifier.
Yeah, it's another thing. Rule of thirds. No, we'd love to have you as a subscriber to It's Bourbonite, youtube.com/Bourbonite. We have a Patreon, patron.
Patreon.
Yeah. It's patreon.com/Bourbonite. And that's where you can hear you, Perry, on the It's Bourbonite Patreon only podcast. You can hear Swan on the Patreon only podcast.
Swan.
Myself and Sarah.
Do you know he's flying south for the winter?
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little Swan going to Capistrano or something.
I thought it was Martinique, but all right.
I don't know. Instagram, it's Bourbonite. Facebook, it's Bourbonite. Twitter, it's Bourbonite. It's Bourbonite.
It's Bourbon Night.
It's Bourbonite@gmail.com if you want to send us a mail piece.
A mail piece?
A mail.
Which part of the mail?
Any part.
Left arm, right arm?
Any of it. Chain mail. We take all sorts of mail. Yeah. Oh, and whiskeyambitions.com. The only thing that's not, it's Bourbonite. Whiskeyambitions.com is our store for merch.
It's a Thursday afternoon.
Thirsty Thursday.
All right. If you want to follow up with me, I am at PRader1492 on all social media platforms. If you want to follow the show, it is at My Bourbon Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you could, as we said at the top of the show, well, close to the top of the show, give us a 5-star rate and review on iTunes. That would be super, super helpful so that we can get new listeners pushed our way. And if you cannot give us a rate and review, please let your friends know about the show if you think that they would enjoy our conversations and finding out more about what it means to be a bourbon drinker in this community.
Start a grassroots campaign.
Yes, please.
Where you tell people.
Yeah. We'll have a GoFundMe set up in a couple of weeks. Yeah, for sure. If you have not yet joined our Facebook group, you can head to facebook.com and search for This Is My Bourbon Group. There's a lot of in-jokes I've recently noticed, but if you want to be a part of those in-jokes, the's no better place.
Now, that's what you call an inside joke?
Well, An
in-joke.
An in-joke.
Interesting.
Well, I only have so much breath left in my body.
You're just trying to conserve
I'm
characters.
really trying to conserve. That's why I call you C-Perk.
Oh, thanks.
I add syllables.
It is helpful. Because Chad is just too...
It's too one
not
note.
Specific
I'm
enough.
I'm going back on that claim. No, we have lots of inside jokes, but if you want to hang out and learn more about what's going on
And get those in-jokes.
Get those in-jokes. Now I feel dumb for even saying
Well, I thought you said end joke, and I'm like,
in-jokes.
well, it's so bad that he has ended the
In-jokes.
joke, which I was like, oh, that makes sense. No, that checks out.
That's just
No,
my
that checks
nature.
out. No, that
Yeah.
checks out.
You can check out all of our apparel and merchandise at bourbonshop.threadless.com. We do still have a free shipping promotion going on for our 100th episode anniversary. So again, bourbonshop.threadless.com. If you have questions or comments, you can send them to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. If you'd like to send anything our way so we can find out what it is that you love or hate or don't care for about this podcast.
Or loathe.
Or loathe with your entire being.
With every fiber of your being. You and your friends. Your faith in your friends is yours.
And yours.
There you go.
Mine, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No. Sithgasm. You know, that's what we call that. When
Sithgasm?
Sithgasm.
Ooh.
When he's just like,
Yeah.
unlimited. That's his Sithgasm. It's completely his Sithgasm. And now you know that.
Man. Yeah.
And now you can't unknow that.
I was going to binge Star Wars on Disney Plus, but now I'm not sure I can.
You don't want to watch the Sithgasm.
No, I don't. We also still have our hotline open for people who want to call into the show at 859-428-8253. That is one more time, 859-428-8253. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we will be happy to play that out on the podcast. And no matter how ridiculous or silly your question is, we'll talk about it.
Or
respond.
request. He'll do it.
Or request. Yes, if you want to see me
He'll do
or
it.
hear me stand on a duck.
Do you want him to wear different pants? He'll do it.
Do you want to hear me make a big sandwich?
Big sandwich?
I will make
And chase
the
a kid.
biggest sandwich.
He'll make 4 big sandwiches.
I have no kid, but I'll find a kid and
He'll
chase
find
him.
a kid, he'll chase him, he'll make him big sandwiches, and he'll change pants.
Please don't send me to jail. And last but not least, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. You can become a patron of the show. You get things like bonus episodes, you get live streams, you get hangouts, you get information about what's coming out.
You get big sandwiches.
You get big sandwiches, Mason.
Meso.
You get to find out what's coming up with the show itself and some of the behind the scenes works as well. Chad, I might ask you to send me your Drink More Bourbon podcast to post over there as well, just to kind of get people interested in sharing the love around and all that. But yeah, that's for the future. Anyway, until then,
yes.
Next week, actually, we do have a very, very special episode coming out. If you have been aware of anything going on in the Whiskey Tube community, you know that Beagle Rare is making its rounds.
Yeah.
And Chad, I actually just found confirmation
Oh, good.
that you yourself
Good.
will be a part of that.
Oh, to that thread that we never responded to because we were too busy.
Yeah, you had a wedding and 1,000 other things going on.
All
but
those notifications on Instagram.
yeah, I actually,
Sorry.
I'm your biggest advocate, apparently.
Yeah,
sorry. You're included in that as well. But
Cool.
Beagle Rare
We'll do that.
will be landing in a week. So,
The Beagle is landing.
Chad,
Hey,
oh,
just a reminder, it popped in my head. Movember and
Yes.
Ronald McDonald House, ck.org/Pappy Raffle.
rhmck.org/Pappy Raffle.
Probably.
Yes.
Just listen to earlier in the episode. Remind yourself.
Yeah, I'll throw a link in the description as
Cool.
well about that. And
There you go.
also you can find the Movember link down there as well. Chad, thank you so much for being here for this
pleasure.
episode, which was weird and wild and
Wacky.
another W word.
It was.
Wacky indeed.
Wacky.
Yes. I will see you next week, but until then, I am Perry, and this is My Bourbon Podcast.
I am rolling.
Are you rocking, though?
Yes. Rolling with the homies.